Hey, what's up, guys? Episode 127 of Richard Metal Fan Interviews here at the Masquerade in Atlanta, Georgia, and I have the honor to speak with the Atomic Clock himself, Mr. Gene Hoglan. How you doing today, Gene?
I'm doing great, Richard. How about yourself?
Can't complain, can't complain. So I
Excellent.
know you're on this awesome tour right now with Suffocation and Nukem, so how's the tour been going so far? The most typical interview question ever, I always say.
Right. Well, I can give you the most typical answer. It's going fantastically. It's absolutely just a crushing tour. All the shows are going great. All the fans are seemingly really happy because that's really the most important part of this. That's why we do it, just for because so many people from back in the day who got to see Death back in the day never thought they'd ever see the music of Death being played live again. And for a lot of the young folks that never got to see the band back in the day, we get to come through and they get to, see what they missed back in that day. So it's been a great tour. We've been having you'll see tonight. We definitely enjoy doing what we do. So we have a really good time on stage, and we try to put forth that same kick-ass energy out into the crowd, and we get it off the crowd right back at us. So it's really awesome tour so far.
Awesome.
Nukem's crushing, Suffo is crushing, so it's a fantastic package.
That's awesome. So I know you're currently also playing Individual Thought Patterns in full tonight. What I'm curious, being as it's now been 30 years since it's been out, do you have like a different viewpoint about it now as opposed to when you first recorded it?
Well, actually, we don't. We're focusing on it, but we're not playing it in full by any means because there's just so many tunes to play. We play for 2 hours every night, and we got to get through every album. We try to pay homage to each record. But when Individual first came out and Symbolic, I'll flat out tell you they were hated by the death metalers. Hated.
Yeah.
Everybody hated them. It wasn't brutal like all the other brutal Florida death metal bands, and Chuck did not care, and me, I didn't either. So there you go. So the perspective now is that there are a couple of classics, which is fantastic, but most hard death metalers didn't care for it. So that's how the perspective has changed over the years, I suppose.
Yeah, and I know that you've been playing with these. Used to play these songs like eons ago. Do you try to like change it up differently nowadays, or do you try to like stick it to how it was played originally on the albums?
For the most part, I mean, there are things that evolve over time. Things that you've put down on record that you're like, man, I wish I had another shot at that. When you listen back to it years later, now we get the other shot at it. But I try to pay homage. I'm really more concerned with paying homage to like the other drum parts on a lot of the songs. Like Sean Reiner, his parts are the ones I'm most concerned with, really, really nailing as good as I can. My stuff, I make it up as I go, but it's been pretty solid this whole tour. You get an arrangement going and you just kind of stick with it. So there you go.
Awesome. And I know you play with like a bunch of variety of bands. I know you play with Testament and Deathclaw and Strapping Young Lad and Devin Townsend. What is sort of like the mind frame playing with all these other bands? Do you try to just like be yourself, or do you ever have to like adjust your playing given like the style of the bands that you're playing with?
I absolutely adjust my style like a chameleon towards every band that I play with, because like say my first band, Dark Angel, did not sound like Death. Death did not sound like Strapping Young Lad. Strapping Young Lad did not sound like Testament, and so forth. So I try to give each project its own signature drum approach that I'm sure it encompasses my approach to a degree, but that's why I've always tried to be a really well-rounded drummer where I can, what do you need? What serves your music best? I got it for you. So that's kind of the way I approach every project I'm in.
All right, and I know I kind of touched upon this before, but playing these songs live, do you ever try to change it up, or do you just stick to how it was recorded on the albums?
Well, like I just said, pretty much we try to stick to the way it was. We don't evolve too much away from how the album versions are. I can't think of anything that we've. There are certain tours that we've done where we've medleyed songs because we've got so many songs to play. We've throw in like spiritual healing along with Within the Mind or something, and or Left to Die along with Leprosy or something like that. We'd mash them up. But on this run, we're doing straight, straight all the songs, all the parts of all the songs.
Right. And being as a drummer, do you ever need to hear what the music is doing in order to lay down your parts, or do you usually have like the entire beat written and the rest of the band writes according to that?
Is that when we're recording or writing?
Or pretty much both.
Okay, well, when it comes to recording, it's helpful to have some scratch tracks. Not mandatory. I mean, It depends if I write the song or not, and also depends if I've just memorized it. If I've had enough time to learn the tunes and memorize them before I go in. Scratch tracks aren't mandatory. They're helpful, definitely, because then you could just kind of unplug your brain and just play along with them. But in a live setting, I don't have to listen to the rest of the band because I know all the songs. I've memorized them all. Sometimes it's helpful when you do hear the band, like if you've got your guitarist is starting off a song, like you'll see me leaning over and checking out Bobby when he's starting, like say a song like Evil Dead or something like that. I'm really leaning into it so I can make sure that I'm catching what he's doing.
Yeah.
But it's not mandatory at all. It's like I know all the songs, and it also depends on the project. A lot of times, I purposely don't listen to the other members on stage. I block them out because if I were to listen to them, that would become a train wreck. So that's where I'm like, okay, I am the conductor of this train. You are out of my mix. You are out of my mix. You follow me. I'll conduct this, and we'll get to the end of the show real nice.
Awesome. And in the end, to kind of wrap things up, what's next for you? I know you got this awesome tour right now, and I know I think you're playing with Death Clock at the Blue Ridge Rock Fest. It's just anything else with like your any other bands that you'd like to promote?
Well, I'm working on a bunch of projects right now, and I think everybody's probably pretty familiar with the fact that Dark Angel's recording a new album, and so that's what we're doing right now. So working on that, and I'm sure everybody's well aware that Death Clock has a movie coming out at some point, and we've got
here right, folks.
That's been announced. I'm not laying out any secrets or anything. That's been pretty well known.
Yeah.
Boy, there's some mighty high emotions going on right behind the camera over there. It looks
Shit
like
that happens in Atlanta, folks.
all right, there you go. But yeah, so tons of stuff. Just keep your eye on all the socials, and you'll know everything that's going on with my world kind of thing. So there you go.
Awesome. So thank
All right,
you,
Richard.
Gene.
Thank you
so
very much, brother.
everybody,
Appreciate
Gene
it.
Hoglan. See you next time.